any serious moves until China ultimately declared a pandemic. Well, WHO declared the pandemic, China declared an epidemic. The problem then was that China has taken the evidence and basically disappeared it. So the laboratories where they were doing all the testing on the bats, stats was literally got rid of. All the evidence documentary stuff that would have evidenced what was going on, that seems to have completely disappeared. And China refuses to talk about it. And what happens anytime anybody talks about this, any country talks about it, they crack down on them. So Australia asked for, post-pandemic full inquiry into how this thing ever came about and what happened to learn the lessons. And China put illegal tariffs on Australian goods, particularly things like wine, etc., and really put them through the ringer. And nobody, what was interesting was that no other country came out and called China out for that behavior. That behavior, by the way, breached the rules of the WTO. So what does China say? Oh, we're not a full member of the WTO. We're a developing country. This is complete rubbish. They get away with this time and time again. Nobody, not even Britain, called them out over that. We should have done. And Australia was left to take the brunt of this, and they went in hard because they wanted to silence everybody else, any other country from doing it, to say, if you do this, this is what's going to happen to you. This is a case of a terrible disease which has been responsible for the death of very many people, and yet there's almost a sort of official ignorance about it. There's a desire not to know anything that went on beyond your boundaries. So when it was raised, it's been raised a long time now. I'm not the first to have raised it. I wrote about it though, and I appeared on an American program over it at the time, and it was just governments literally were frightened of raising it, it seemed, and didn't want it to go anywhere. And here we have this ludicrous inquiry, and I say ludicrous, expensive and pointless inquiry that's taking place at the moment about did we get things right. I mean, Sweden, who had the response better than us, where they allowed people to mix together, but under guidance and some specific rules, but they didn't lock everybody down and let people go to work. They had a lower per capita death rate than anywhere else in Europe, and also their economy didn't shut down, so they were able to pick up quite quickly afterwards. So all the after effects of us locking people down and telling them to go home has been disastrous in economic terms and in health terms. We are meandering on through the pointlessness of their questions. And the one question you should have been asking is, how in hell's name did this happen in the first place? And this inquiry doesn't want to ask that, which does seem to me bizarre.